Welcome back to Area 52, the channel where I show you that even as an amputee, things are still possible. We're continuing work on Project Mouse Motel here. We did a suspension lift, and we've got a couple other modifications going on to it. A little introduction on this project I've got going on. I bought it about 3 years ago. It's a 96 ZJ Grand Cherokee, and I bought it bone stock with the intentions of selling it. However, I went and bounced it through the woods a couple times, put a few dents in it that are a little bit noticeable. Right off the bat, I put some light bars on it. I bought some cheap eBay light bars. It came with a 20-inch and then the 40-inch on the front here, and then 4 pods also came with it that I don't have on the Jeep yet, and I'm not sure where I want to put them. But that was pretty much how this Jeep was for the longest time. And then I busted a rear brake line, and I brought it home to go ahead and fix that brake line. And then the project started going from there. So what I did was a 2-inch puck lift. It came with the pucks, the shocks, and a 1-inch transfer case lowering kit, which if you look down in the wheel well here, you can see the new shock on it and the puck. And then I put V8 springs on the front. They are a variable rate spring from a V8 Grand Cherokee. This is a 4-liter. To try to give it a little extra lift, because here in a little bit I'm going to be starting on the winch bumper for it. I've cut out these holes in the frame rail here so that you can get back there, and then my winch plates will bolt into the frame rail. So that project is next on the list, as well as cleaning up this front end. I've got some new parts for it, the new grill, headlights, and turn signals and everything, because I would like to actually have this street legal for once. But later on, I'm going to do the bumper, the front end. I got to fix that tail light right there. And I think I'm going to weld the differential. I've got the right tools for the job, and I think it would help it in the trails. And then, of course, going to stick some new tires on it and try to get this thing ready for a season of wheeling, and then just do some preventative maintenance along the way. One of the projects that I've already done is the transfer case wouldn't go into 4-low or neutral, and as it turns out, this indicator here was the culprit. It was hitting the shift selector in the transfer case. So I got a new indicator for it. The transfer case that was in this from the factory was a full-time 4-wheel drive transfer case, so it only had 4 high, neutral, and 4 low. That was a NP249, and the guy I bought it off of swapped in an NP231, which has 2 high, 4 high, neutral, and 4 low. So I got that all taken care of. This Jeep has 4 low for the first time since I've owned it, and since he owned it, actually. One of the special things about this is it actually has factory 373 gears. So that's going to be a major plus for crawling around in the woods, especially in 4-low. And with what I've seen so far, this thing really creeps in 4-low, so I'm excited to see what it'll do in the woods. But right now, we are actually going to put an exhaust system on it, because right now, the exhaust terminates under the passenger side floorboard. So if you look up under there, you can see the tailpipe just terminates there. And normally I wouldn't care too much about the exhaust note being too loud and obnoxious. But again, since I'm trying to drive this thing on the street, I want to knock the noise down just a little bit. You can also see those black pucks there. That's the 1-inch transfer case drop. Wasn't too hard to do, but 3 of the 4 bolts came out. The 4th one gave us a little trouble. If you look, this is the driver's side here. I had to take the old plasma cutter and cut a little hole because the nut on the inside there was spinning. But we just completed this project. I've had help from my buddy Wyatt. He's been helping me on the whole lift project. We had to drop pretty much the entire front axle out from under it. You can see I've got some aftermarket tubular control arms. That allowed me to get the axle lower, so that was nice. Got a good deal on those from a buddy of mine. But we dropped the front axle out of it and got the new V8 springs in and got that all done. And then today we just finished up the rear suspension, which, as I said before, is just some pucks right there and then the new shocks. So that went pretty easy. And then, yeah, we're moving right along. So on the exhaust project, I bought this Cherry Bomb turbo muffler. I didn't want anything to totally quiet it down, but I got this muffler and a downturn and an adapter that goes from 2" to 2 1/4, so I can weld it straight to the Jeep. But that's what we got going on. I'll try to get some action shots of us getting this exhaust welded up and possibly even welding it into the Jeep. I used to be pretty good at MIG with my left hand, my dominant hand, but my right hand isn't quite as stable and I'm a little bit out of practice, so we'll see how all this goes. Wish me luck. All right, so we're gonna pull this out of the garage here to give us a little bit more room for sparks to fly while I'm welding. I don't want to be close to anything too important, but to give you an idea of how loud this thing is, I mean, it's just basically a downpipe, and that's about it. I'm gonna get a video of it starting and running here as we pull it out of the garage, and hopefully there will be a bit of a difference when I put the muffler on. So Wyatt, go ahead and crank her up. One of the things to consider when you're working on something that's 24 years old is the massive amounts of dirt that will fall out of it, especially if you've been wheeling your project. Be prepared to get the broom out when you're done. This is all of the dirt. Doesn't really look like much on camera, but this is just what we knocked out from under it from doing the rear suspension only. And I even pressure washed under this Jeep before I brought it to my house. And I think like about every time I go off-roading with it, I drive it through the river to clean out the undercarriage too. So that's a lot of dirt. Be prepared to get dirt in your eyes and ears and pretty much everywhere else too. As you'll see in the video where I cut out the holes in the front bumper of the Jeep, this is my welding arsenal, if you will. I've got a Jegs Cut 40 plasma cutter down there, which works really well. In fact, I cut through the frame to access that nut earlier. And then I've got this Hobart Handler 140 MIG welder with gas there. It, I think, goes up to like 1/4 inch steel. So for this project, it's really not going to be that big of a deal for it. But I'm running a 25-75 CO2 argon mix. Nothing special. I mean, I don't consider myself a professional welder by any means, but this is definitely stout enough to do what I need it to do. So I'm gonna come over here and tack that in place, and then I'll switch sides and tack that turn down onto the other side, and then we'll roll the Jeep back in here and weld it up onto the Jeep, and everything should be good. Stand by. Globbed it up there at the end. I think it'll hold. All right, so I got both the adapter there and my turn down welded on. They're not the prettiest welds in the world. I added a couple up here on the flange of the muffler because they were just some tiny little spot welds. I'm afraid if anything catches this muffler in the woods, it's gonna rip it straight off. So I added a couple welds to both sides to try to beef it up a little bit, but I'm gonna let this cool down and then we'll roll the Jeep back in here and zap her back on the Jeep and see how she sounds. Alright, so I've got the exhaust up in the Jeep, sitting about where I want it. There's going to be some gaps to fill. I'm going to try it anyway. We'll see what happens. I'll either blow through it or I won't. But this is how you do it when you only have one hand. Just hold it with the jack. Okay, so again, I don't consider myself to be a great welder, and I'm kind of learning to do it right-handed again. So, before I show you my work, don't judge. And I had to fill a really large gap. So there it is, but it looks like I got it welded all the way around. You can see where it's globbed up really bad there. There's like a 1/4 inch gap that I didn't see from the other side. I tacked it in place and it was too late, so I just had to fill it. But I think she's sealed up all the way around, and like I said, it's not pretty. This isn't supposed to be a show winner by any means, but hopefully she'll be a little bit quieter. So we did things the safe way and disconnected the battery before we welded, though it wouldn't be the worst thing if this burnt down. But we're going to go ahead and fire her up and see how she sounds now. Oh, door fell off. Whoa, that made a huge difference. Wow, I am really impressed with how that turned out. Still has a nice tone to it. That's a Cherry Bomb turbo muffler. Give her a rev. Man, a little bit quieter than what I was expecting, but honestly, I really like the tone of it. I mean, that's going to sound nice, and it's not going to be freaking obnoxious while I'm driving it down the road, too. So I might put a little exhaust hanger down there where the turn down is, just to kind of make sure she stays up there. But right in front of where I was welding, there's a hanger, too. So I'm not too worried about it as of right now. But, yeah, she's on there, I think this is going to be the end for tonight. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you liked the video. Hope I wasn't skipping around too much. But this is one of the first videos I'm doing for this channel. If you don't already follow my other channel, 5-Digit Films, go ahead and go over and check that out if you want to know about my prosthetics or how I got injured, or some of the things going on in my life as far as that part of it goes. Just go over there, check out 5-Digit Films, and hopefully I'll have some more content for you soon. We'll be putting the front end of the Jeep together, welding the diff, and a few other little odds and ends too. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. So as a side note, we decided to add a couple other quick little upgrades to this video. Does it really count if you do the work if you don't add the stickers that came with the products you bought? So we got the Cherry Bomb right there, because it's a Cherry Bomb turbo muffler. We've got a Supreme suspensions that, you know, that was kind of hasty and black on black, so it's kind of ghost. But we put one down there for good measure. And then we got the Supreme suspensions on the side. And then up front, we added this one to the window in case I put her on her lid and somebody sees my sweet suspension setup and wants to know what it is, but can't read the others because they're upside down. This one will be right side up for them, I think. So there you go. If you do the work, make sure you put the stickers on, otherwise it doesn't count.